In fact, Michael, it was just this week that the Hawks raided the local municipality in the northwest. We're talking about tender fraud here related to 85 million rand.
Well, a whole lot more than that, Michelle. That's right. It's an 85 million rand tender, 300 million rand security tender. It's a lot of zeros we're talking about here. The search and seizure warrant executed by the Hawks on the 5th of March on the Rustenburg local municipality has the executive mayor and the municipal manager, who just briefed us, slightly baffled, saying that the Hawks had all the information at their disposal and that they have been cooperating with law enforcement since last year already. Mpho Khunou joins me. He's the executive mayor from Rustenburg. Mr. Mayor, thank you for your time. You say the search and seizure is unwarranted and baffling to you. Why?
Well, we explained earlier on that we have been in cooperation with the Hawks since last year. There was an officer of the Hawks who's been to the municipality to make inquiries about the appointment of Mpho Khunou, the appointment of CMS. They approached the office of the municipal manager. All the information they required was made available to them in hard copy, in soft copy. And we gave an assurance that should they require any additional information, we are willing to help. What is baffling about this search and seizure is that the third matter which has been the subject of the search and seizure is about a contract which was whose appointment was made by another entity. It was not made by the municipality, a contract whose execution therefore does not rest within the municipality. So it's quite baffling that they will target a search and seizure on a contract which has got nothing really to do with the institution. And just to clear a few things that you have alluded to when you talk about big numbers, there is no such a thing as a 300 million security tender. You know, the tender at best amounts to about 65 million over a period of 3 years. So this figure which is bandied about of 300 million, there's no such a thing. Similarly, this 85 million tender fraud, which has been the subject of media releases post this search and seizure, there's no such a thing. The appointment of CNS was for about 85 million. There's been expenditure of about 25 million. There's been questions about how that money was spent, the 25 million. The AG's office went and conducted an local inspection where they verified how that money was spent. So it's quite baffling that these figures are being bandied around, which are really have got no basis.
So you've taken external legal advice. The legal advice is that you've followed all procurement processes, everything is above board. Are the Hawks wasting their time?
I can confirm certainly that in respect of Mpho Khunou appointment is an appointment which was done in terms of Resolution 32 in compliance with the MFMA. There were questions about whether the appointment was done properly. We subjected ourselves to an external review of the contract, and the report that came was pretty clear. The appointment was above board. So we'll challenge anyone who wants to suggest any form of impropriety to come to the fore, because people make these allegations, but nobody comes and concretely say, this is why we believe this thing was irregular. On the second one of CMS, we followed supply chain processes. There's an appointment which was done following an exhaustive supply chain processes, and we've got nothing to fear. We believe we followed the law, we've complied, but if there are specific allegations, you see the challenge with all of these things which have been, there are no specific allegations which are put on the table. This is why we think that this is irregular. But, you know, there's talks of 85 million fraud when there's actually no basis for that.
We're heading into silly season. It's elections coming up soon. Speaking about allegations, the Red Berets saying that the security tender, the proceeds of that going towards funding the ANC's election campaign, I suspect, in the Northwest. Care to respond to that?
Well, I would advise the Red Berets to be concerned about some of their councillors who are facing serious allegations of fraud. One of their councillors is facing allegations of illegally selling stands. So I think in a few weeks this will come to the fore. So I think they've got to be a lot more worried about that, instead of making wild allegations. The ANC has got nothing to do with procurement in the institution, and whatever allegations that they're making about, particularly in relation to the security tender, they're actually baseless. And we are starting to wonder whether the Red Berets, the FFF, got some special relationship with some of the service providers. Why are they making a particular noise about this service provider in the security services? So we want to dismiss those accusations with the contempt it deserves. And rightly, like we've indicated, it's silly season. So people become opportunistic. They make all sorts of wild allegations. We think they've got to be a lot more worried about what will come to the fore, about what their own councillors have committed within Rustenburg local municipality.
Are you cleaning house, Mr. Mayor, lastly? 7 employees in the bid evaluation committee that make decisions related to tenders were fired recently.
Well, one thing I can tell you is that the current municipal manager wouldn't be a popular figure in town, because ever since she's come in, she started the process of cleaning up the institution. We commissioned a forensic investigation. Following that forensic investigation, we laid criminal charges that have been investigated. There were disciplinary hearings that were held. 7 people were dismissed. But there's also this onslaught that you're observing against the municipal manager, where you observe that service providers may have had untoward relationships with officials in the municipality, and they always believe that they are always entitled to obtain contracts from the municipality. The municipal manager has leveled the playing field so that people compete fairly for opportunities at the municipality, and we believe this onslaught is people who believe that they are always entitled. There's forever these media leaks, particularly from a directorate in the Municipality of Public Safety. There's media leaks. Even today, there are media leaks about a new appointment, which is leaked to the media. And we are starting to wonder whether this is not part of these special relationships that you've had between some of the officials and service providers. And that's why the municipal manager now gets to be at the center of all of this attention, when we believe it's a serious distraction from the efforts that have been taken to clean up the institution.
Mr. Mayor, appreciate your time. Thank you. Michelle?